Welcome, welcome, welcome! It's your girl V from DTWV, and you are here now locked into the best place to be. On a Sunday, on a fun day, any day, have it your way. If this is your first time tuning into Drinking Tea with V and you want to know what it's all about, it's basically your Sunday slumber party with a business / entrepreneurial flair. And you're a place to be for entertainment and fun. And fellas, trust me, I got you. Because it's almost 50-50 for the fellas and the ladies that tune in. So fellas, this is where you get a sneak peek into the female psyche. So if you want to know what is hot or what is not, stick around to know more. But anyways, before we continue, make sure that you share the video. Make sure you like it if you're all about what I just said Drinking Tea with V is about, and share the fun, share the positive vibes. But anyways, this month is this month is May, which is here at Drinking Tea with V is Money Matters May. And it's the last Sunday. It's the last Sunday of the month. So it's the last Money Matters show. But we're going to continue talking about moolah anyways, because I like to talk about money. Money. That's what you all hear in the greens. And yes, here at Drinking Tea with V, we start off with flavor of the day, then we get into the tea and coffee. And today, the tea again is green tea, because like I said, we are all about that money. We are all about that green. Well, actually, the dollar is kind of low right now, but we're gonna see how that can go. But it's just a figurative, way of speaking. So we all about that green. So we having green tea with lemon. Don't forget the splash of lemon. So yeah, that was my flavor of the day. So now let's get into the topic of the show, which also is tea and coffee. If you want to know what tea and coffee is all about, that is, something that just tea is something that just sends you out, and coffee is something that makes you get hype and excited and makes you want to party. Vogue. But anyways, get back to the point. Today, what we're talking about is debt freedom, and trust me, there's a play on words. And I like playing with words. So there's a play on words with that. So it's debt freedom, and also, yeah, debt freedom again. We will get into it. So what sends me out? That is, yeah. With debt freedom, I just loves to be. I don't like to owe nobody nada. nothing. And that is point number 1 here with the whole debt freedom thing. You don't owe nobody nothing. But now where it gets hype and excited is the fact that we like to use the phrase, right? For instance, we like to use the phrase, money is the root of all evil. There is nothing that is more wrong than that phrase, because it's the love of money that is the root of all freedom. And in this case, we need a little bit more nuance with debt. And here is where I get hyped and excited. So what gets me hyped and excited, right, about debt is debt can be used as a tool. Debt can be used as a tool. And if you don't know how to use this tool, honey, trust me, you might lose some fingers, lose some toes, lose some limbs. Like they say, it costs you an arm and a leg. Well, you might lose some limbs in this process. Okay? But yes, the whole exciting part of it is that, yes, debt is a liability, as in when you borrow money, it costs you money because you got to pay that interest. So let's say you have $100 or euros in debt, and the interest is 20%. Some credit cards are crazy. So the interest is 20%. So 20% of 100 is 20, and at the end of it, you pay 120 instead of just 100. When you raise the bar on the amount of money, you're like, oh, 20, That's okay. I'm willing to pay that off. But let's say it's 100,000 now you going in with. If that interest is 20%, that's 20,000. So at the end of it, you're not paying 100,000 back, but you're paying 120,000 back. Now that 20,000, you'll be like, dang, I could have done, I could have gone on vacation, I could have had a car, I could have had this, I could have done that, I could have paid off my student loans, I could have paid off, like you could do a lot with 20,000. So that's what I'm saying. Trust me, trust me, trust me. Debt is a liability because it's gonna cost you money. It will cost you money. Number one. Number two, it's gonna you're gonna be a slave to the lender. If you borrow money, you are going to be a slave to the lender. So, do you want to have that kind of a relationship going on? Do you want to be a slave to anything or anybody? Because when you borrow money from the bank, you are a slave to them. And guess what? Your life is not yours anymore. In a great sense, because the things that you have to do is in order to pay back, or else you're in deep trouble. Your time is not yours. The money, all of the money that you earn is not yours at that point in time, and the assets that you acquire is also not yours. So if you borrow money to buy a car and you don't pay off that debt, the car is not yours, and the bank can be like, thank you. Oops. And you sell it for little to nothing, you still have a whole heap of money to pay back anyways. With the house, the same thing. You borrow money. If you borrow money, the house is not yours until it is finished paid with interest. But, let's get to the exciting part right now. Debt is a tool and can be used in a positive way. Hear me out, because people tend to be like, debt is a devil. Not necessarily. It's a tool. It's a dangerous tool at that. But once you know how to work this tool, then yeah, you are going to have a positive outcome, a positive return on investment. And that, honey, is what we are all here about. It's not only about debt freedom. I don't want to make you believe that I don't believe in the possibility of incurring debt. I'm talking about being and using this tool very, 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 very smart. Very smart. So let's talk about the way in which you can build wealth without necessarily having the money yourself. So that is where your opportunity cost is then positive, right? In the sense of, if you, let's say you borrow money to make products, to finance the production of certain products that you already have a deal for and getting the money in for, but you can only get that money in if you can prove that you can produce the products. So then you can incur debt to produce those products, to then you already have a deal signed, sealed, and delivered. Don't forget that part. Signed, sealed, and ready to be delivered. So when you do like this with the proof, you do like this with the money, okay? That is where you can use this tool as a smart thing. So that part is definitely key. And also, if you look at it in the long run, because I already spoke about wanting to own my own house, or even maybe my first house might not be the house that I necessarily live in. Maybe it might just be a tool to flip the house, or have it to rent it to get the mortgage paid off quicker, because if I rent it I could get more money for it than if I live in it, actually. But anyways, you get more money for it, blah 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 blah, because it's your ownership. You have ownership over the house. Even if you do it in different ways. I know here in the Netherlands you cannot rent a house unless you own it, but guess what, you don't have to necessarily do this in the Netherlands. Anywhoosies, boozies, boozies, that's beside the point. That is besides the point. Part of your mortgage is also tax deductible, so you can use that as in a tool to be like, okay, I can acquire wealth without necessarily having to be wealthy before, or having to have the money before. And if you look at it in the long term, yes, if you have a mortgage, yes, it's still debt. But if you pay in somebody else year after year after year after year after year, the same amount of rent, if you look on a long-term basis, at the end of that period, you don't own the house and you still have to continue renting. But if you invest into a mortgage on a long-term basis, the house is yours. But unless you would have to then look into property and property ownership, if it's going to be yours, or if you're only going to be able to borrow the land and have to still pay land taxes and so forth. So you have to look on into all of those different aspects. But anywho, my point of this whole thing, debt can bring you freedom in the sense that the freedom to incur debt, to be able to then have a positive return on investment. You can then build wealth without having the money of your own. But debt freedom, in the sense of you are free of debt, that is the best feeling in the whole world. That is the best feeling in the whole world. You don't owe nobody nothing. Your life is yours. Your assets are yours. So we all about that debt-free life. And freedom to incur debt to get a positive return on investment. Anyways, we're coming down to the end of this quickie series. This one was really quick. I don't want to make it over 15 minutes. And so you think for yourself, what is your relationship with debt? What is your relationship with debt? And this is the quote that makes you feel like you can take over the world, honey. Okay? And listen. There are 10% of borrowers in the world who use debt to get richer. And 90% of borrowers use debt to get poorer. You can choose to be in the 90% or you can choose to be in the 10%. So you gotta know what you're gonna do. So if you're gonna go and buy a car when it come off the lot, that asset already decreased in the value of that asset already decreased, like by I think at least 30%. Some is like 30 to 50%. So know what you're doing. Know what you're doing. Anyhow, be fabulous, stay fit, and have a fantabulous debt-free week. At least take steps to get to debt freedom. Have that. Anyways, this is mwah. Bye.